Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Africa. I mean, this is what I woke up to this morning, and that's pretty ridiculous. This in and of itself is worth the visit. But I'm gonna walk around camp for a little bit this morning, and then we're gonna go for a drive. Temps this morning are fantastic. It's like 67 degrees or something, and perfectly overcast. Just a beautiful morning to walk around. So, at least if we were in Georgia, this would be a beautiful morning to walk around. But the snakes here clearly are on a little bit of a different time schedule, so we'll see what we can get into. Then we're gonna go drive around and look at elephants and stuff and hopefully see some lions or possibly even a rhino. All right, first find of the day, we have a little skink. This is a new one for us. I think this is a spotted neck snake-eyed skink. Cool little fossorial looking guy. The last snake-eyed skink got away, but I think this one's a female. She doesn't have as many spots on her side, and she almost looks gravid. Very, very fat. Cool little lizards though. About the only thing I've seen so far this morning. I'm guessing these are called snake-eyed skinks because they don't have eyelids. I mean, this thing does not have an eyelid. It's not blinking. Really weird. Neat little lizard. Check this thing out. I think it's a fly, but it's just crazy looking. It looks like it would give you a disease. Let's play Find the Hippo. Do you see him? What about now? What about now? Alright, we've got some zebras giving us the butt shot. We've seen quite a few of them, but they're just not very photogenic so far. This is the best we've got. Well, that was crazy. We saw some cars looking at something and went to investigate, and they had just a pride of lions sitting right next to the road. That was unbelievable. I think this is going to be a pair of common dwarf geckos. We've stopped for lunch. I'm going to guess that's the male and that's a female. Cool little geckos though. Really cool to see diurnal geckos everywhere. This is just not something I'm used to. All of the geckos I've seen in the wild prior to this trip have been strictly nocturnal. All right, this is the worst part of the trip so far. That is a DOR Boomslong, and a beautiful green one too. Man, that sucks. They're out though. Maybe we'll get a live one. Well, it has been a pretty fantastic morning, other than DOR Boomslong. We're kind of poking around one of these areas where we're allowed to get out of the car right now. And then we're gonna head to our next camp and check in and see what that area is like. And hopefully we'll see some wildlife along the way. All right, we're gonna see if this big man crosses the road here to get some water. Sure enough. That's so funny. He's just making a mess. It's a cute little babby zebra. Beautiful. Is that mom right there? Mm-hmm. Whoa. I want to say this one's a rainbow skink. He is awesome though. Huge, like broadhead sized, and super colorful. And this is just Lizard City. Look at these guys. Finally, we have a tortoise. A little leopard tortoise. Look at him. He is awesome. So there's two species of tortoise here, the leopard and the hinge tortoise, and this is a young leopard tortoise, and he is awesome. Kind of reminds me of a small little gopher tortoise back home, but these guys get quite a bit bigger than this, obviously, so we'll leave him to it. First tortoise, and the closest we've gotten to any kind of turtle or tortoise since we got to Africa. He's gonna slowly make his way that direction. He was headed towards the road, so maybe we'll see a few more things on the road this afternoon. Look at that. That's a good look. What a strange creature. Its head's so big. It's all head. So this is pretty much barren because of elephants, right?
No, I'm not supposed to say that.
No, but I will. I'm not scared to. Because this is just ridiculous.
This is crime against humanity.
I mean, there's not even a single blade of grass to be eaten. This is legitimately looks like the moon. That is unreal.
I'm sorry guys, I didn't know it was this bad already.
Alright guys, we just started walking around camp and holy crap. I think this is an egg-eating snake. That's almost got to be what that is. Alright, just double-checked and confirmed that is in fact an egg-eating snake. I'm not sure what the most acceptable common name for this species is, but holy crap. What an iconic snake. I mean, I think we all grew up seeing pictures of these in books and documentaries, and it's just crazy to see one in the wild. The same day I saw my lifer African lion, we have my lifer egg-eating snake. So I think this is going to be a juvenile egg-eating snake. It's only around a foot long and just looks like maybe a year old. That's just my best guess as someone who knows nothing about this species. But what a cool snake. Just so different from anything we've ever seen. Pretty fascinating that these things make an existence eating almost exclusively bird eggs, or maybe even completely exclusively. Here's a little size reference on this guy. Super docile. Just a chill little dude. I've always thought it was weird that these are a snake that climbs trees and eats eggs, because they just do not look like something that would be climbing trees. And they really don't look like something that would be eating eggs almost exclusively. They might even eat eggs completely exclusively. I do not know for sure. First snake of the night pretty quickly tonight. Hopefully we can have another multi-snake night. We're going to leave this guy to his crawling and see what else we can turn up. Beautiful egg-eating snake is our first snake of our last night here in Kruger. Check this big guy out. Some kind of scolopendra. I'm assuming it's a scolopendra. He's blue. Oh, he just caught a bug. Or tried to. Not quite as big as the ones in Texas, but still a solid 4 or 5 inches. Alright, there's a weird little wet spot right here, and sitting in it are a couple of toads of a new species, which I don't know the idea of, but I will try to label it. We got one right here, and then there's another one right there. Pretty toads, kind of green with purplish spots on them. I don't know what kind of birds these are, but they're very cute, sleeping in pairs. And there's like 100 of them in this tree.
Wow, look at this.
So the habitat in this rest camp so far is not particularly impressive, but we did find a snake already, so I'm hoping that that means it's good, or maybe we just got lucky. We'll see how the next hour or two goes. Look at that guy. I wonder if that's who's calling over there. I think this is a foam nesting tree frog. He's kind of high up on the wall, so we won't be able to get too much closer to him, but pretty neat. First tree frog looking thing we've seen this trip. This is so goofy. This roach is just riding the scorpion around, and he can't do anything about it because the scorpion can't sting him because he's on top of him, and he's basically a shield. The scorpion's trying so hard to sting him, but he just can't because he's got a pretty protective, oh, well, now they're both under this leaf. So the scorpion climbed upside down and was able to finally sting this thing, and I think it's going to try to eat it now. Or maybe the roach is going to get away. I don't know. Oh, he's got it in his mouth. He's totally won. The scorpion won. I'm not going to lie. Dung beetles have been one of the coolest things about this trip so far. Watching them roll turds across the road. This guy's currently burying a turd. It's just so funny to watch them do their thing. Look at this guy. He's hard at work. Doesn't even know I'm here. He's gonna put his turd in the hole.
Put that gauge. Decided it's not deep enough.
Oh yeah, he's got to dig a little more. Here's one of these guys just running across the road. I don't know. We haven't yet seen these on the ground until now. Very pretty. Big gecko. We're probably about to wrap up for the night though. It's been a couple hours and we haven't seen any more snakes. What is this guy doing? You alright, dude? He kind of looks like he's stuck, but I'm assuming he's not. Poke him real quick. No, he's fine. He's going down in the crack. Alright guys, well right in front of the house here is another egg eater. Second one of the night. Same size as the first. Cool to see our second snake, and it is very brisk right now. It's brisk and breezy, so these must be a pretty cold tolerant snake. Or they're just super common here. I know they're pretty common, but you know, night snake in West Texas on a cold night common. Very cool snakes though. Cool to see one actually doing its thing on a dead tree. Presumably this would be a good place for a bird to nest, and that's why he's hanging out. Super neat. You can hear some megafauna piping off behind me.
400 rand credit because they screwed up the booking and said you can have the extra game rush for that 400 rand in exchange. But now we have a bungalow with that.
Good morning, everybody. It's our last day in Kruger, and we're pretty much just driving out of the park today, so we're doing a little bit of a walk here around our last campsite before we leave. Going to be a lot of driving today, so I don't know how much herping we'll get done, but if we see anything interesting, I'll make sure to show you guys. Well, it's not a great look again, but that is our second species of monitor, and I believe these are Nile monitors here. A very aquatic version of the monitor lizard. Oh, there we go. There's a pretty good look at him. What a handsome lizard. Man, it's so cool to finally see monitors in the wild, and he's just posing for us. Look at him. All right, he's getting a little unhappy with me. You can see he's puffing up a little bit. What a fantastic lizard. This guy's only about maybe 2.5, 3 feet long, but they get gigantic. This is a tiny one. Seems like a pretty ideal place to be a monitor lizard. Big dry riverbed with just enough water to keep everything happy and surviving. Plenty of food. Just a beautiful place. I think that's like a big, that might even be an elephant skull. A big piece of like a megafauna bone down there. So I'm not sure what these guys are, but they're super cool. They look like fruit bats of some kind. Look at him looking at me. Lighting's a little better over here. And that one, I believe it has a baby. It's cuddling a little baby. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. All right, here we have a little Swainson's Franklin dust bathing.
Mm-hmm. It's not a nest.
And then a look at the greater magnificent habitat he lives in.
Now like that red piece of skin under his bill, he blows it up like a huge balloon, almost the size, a third the size of his own body.
All right, guys, so we just got back from Kruger. I just put all my bags in the room and got my stuff together to go for a short hike. And literally 5 feet out the door is a lifer. This is a Herald snake. That's so cool. Oh my goodness. Quick and easy tonight, I guess. So I believe this is going to be one of the more common snakes of the trip. They're a very widespread species here in South Africa, and they seem to be pretty abundant in a lot of the places they occur. But a very pretty snake. They're actually, I think, mildly venomous, not considered to be dangerous to humans, like a lot of the snakes here in South Africa. So these things have a couple of common names. The Herald snake, red-lipped Herald snake, red-lipped snake. But either way, they're just a very interesting and different snake. They're kind of cat-eyed snake adjacent. You can see they've got those elliptical pupils that they use to hunt frogs and stuff at night. But just a very weird snake in hand. It feels almost fossorial, but it looks arboreal. And I think it's kind of a mixture of both. Like these guys will both go down holes and up trees. All right, I'm actually gonna let this guy go in the tree so the dog can't get him, and then we're gonna continue on our hike. This guy is literally in the yard, like I said, so. As you can see, this guy has no problem climbing. We'll just leave him to it, go for a quick hike and see if we can find any more snakes, and then I have to go edit. So the game plan for the next couple of days is to just explore this property and some of the other properties around it that I have access to. Maybe do a little road cruising for the first time. And then in a couple of days, we're gonna head to the central Highveld region of the country, which is, you can see, there's a bunch of critters out there. But we're gonna change areas here in a couple of days, get in some different habitat, and probably some different snakes too. Here we have a, whoop, well there he went. Very generic looking frog. There's actually African clawed frogs in here too, but I haven't been able to get a good look at any of them yet. Hopefully we will eventually. They're very, very quick to flee whenever we get close. Look at this guy. He's huge. So I picked this thing up to get him off the fence and get a more naturalistic photo of him, and he squirted bug juice all over me and started doing this. What a beast. That is so cool. It is quite brisk out here tonight. Yet again, even though it's not really wet. You can see there's a bunch of somebody out there. We're not gonna go that way. And here is our second Herald snake of the night, in situ. This one's quite a bit smaller than the first and not quite as pretty. You can see he doesn't have as much red on his face. Very nice though, second snake of the night. We've only been out for like an hour. One of my favorite things about going new places is just feeling how different the snakes are. We're very lucky as herpers to be able to get this close and interact this much with our subjects. And I appreciate that the most when I visit new places and I get to just briefly interact with these beautiful animals when I see them for the first time and compare them to what I'm used to and appreciate them. But that is a beautiful little snake. All right, guys, I'm probably gonna call it a night with this guy, but here's a nice little rubber frog. These guys are definitely way less abundant when it's not actively raining, it seems. I've seen 1 or 2 almost each night, but the first night we saw tons, like probably 2 dozen at least. Such a weird and cool frog though. These are definitely one of my favorite things we've seen. Like, what is this thing even doing? He's just walking around. There he goes. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning.